Thank you for tuning in as we spend an hour talking to a truly, truly legendary band in the world of rock and metal, and some guys that are celebrating a 40th anniversary remarkably. And I can honestly say for almost all of those 40 years, I have known them and they have all been friends, and we have experiences and stuff between us, and Bello's already acting up and getting me off my game before we even got started.
I said one thing. I don't know why it affected you like that. I have no idea.
It didn't take long. I am joined by 4/5 of the current lineup of Anthrax. We will go around the horn. It's like the Brady Bunch if you're watching on Zoom. Anthrax lead singer Joey Belladonna. Joey B, how are you?
Yeah.
That's all you got, Joe?
How's it going, Eddie?
You don't have to lean in, Joey.
I like leaning in. Frankie's doing it, so I got to do it too.
I'm just because I'm neurotic. I can't
Kiss the damn thing.
Continuing on the bottom of Joey, down below there is Charlie Benanti. Charlie, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Ed. How's Vegas? Yeah, good. All right, let's go.
It's dinner time. Everybody's got somewhere to be. And then, of course, in his car is Scott Ian. Scott, good to see you. Where are you at exactly?
I'm at, well, I won't say exact. Well, Malibu Bluff Skate Park, actually, in Malibu. My son is right over there in the skate park, and I'm being a good dad, and I'm sitting in the car doing an interview with you.
All right. All right. And then with the killer glasses on, just looking marvelous over here, Anthrax bass player Frank Bello. What's with those glasses?
I can't see. What do you want me? I can't see so good. What am I going to do? Your box is like this. I'm not saying your box, Eddie. The box looks like this small on this stupid thing, but I'll get over it. How about this? You like it now, Betty? Eddie, you like this now? It's okay? I have so much more to give you that's private. Oh, forget it, dude. I got good stuff.
I know you got your own stuff. See, when you got your own stuff to promote, you don't want to go off the rails too much because you need the time to promote your own stuff. But when you don't, then you'll go off.
Oh, the other stuff. I don't care about that. I care about the stuff I got to give you. Go ahead.
All right. So anyway, 40 years of Anthrax is crazy. Now, I was thinking about this, and I talked to you about this, Charlie. Some bands mark their beginning of when they started from the year that their first record came out, where I think a lot of fans see it that way. Others mark their anniversary from when they first met and first had the idea for the band. Why now did you feel was the right time to celebrate 40 years of Anthrax? We'll start with you, Charlie.
Well, I think Scott wanted to base it on when he started it back in high school. So I agreed to it. But then in 3 years from now, we're going to do when I got in the band and when our first album came out, that'll be the next 40 years that we could celebrate. So it's going to go in that order.
It works.
We're cashing in.
Scott, was it for you 81? What happened in 81 that you wanted to market as 40 years now?
It was actually the first time it was ever called Anthrax. It was me and Danny Lilker, 3 other guys who jammed that night at a rehearsal place in Flushing, Queens. And Danny and I had been talking about for months and months at that point, talking about starting a band together. He was in another band. His band broke up. And we knew we were going to have a band together, and we wanted to call it Anthrax. That was the plan. And that night, July 18th, 1981, was the night that we jammed, and we felt like it just felt great, and it sounded good, and we all had fun. And the rehearsal ended, and that it was just said, well, this is it. This is Anthrax. We are Anthrax.
When you say you jammed on that day with Danny and the band was formed 40 years ago, obviously with different guys at that time, but what did you jam on? I imagine it was covers, right?
We played Kiss Alive from start to finish.
I believe that, actually.
Kidding.
I would actually believe that.
You got to take a shot. You said Kiss.
Yeah, Charlie wanted to play a drinking game whenever somebody mentions Kiss. We'd be drunk within an hour, but
Scott can't because he's driving.
No, I mean, I'd be hard pressed to remember most of it, but for sure, I mean, by that point, July of 81, we were playing Priest covers, Maiden covers, Motorhead covers, Sabbath covers, all that kind of stuff.
Frankie, for you, You came in a few years later rather, but you were involved in. Talk about your entrance into the band. What year was that exactly?
What was it? 83, 84. I was really a tech, not a really bad technician as a roadie kind of guy. I hung out with the guys pretty much. And then when I heard there was a bass opening, I auditioned. Now, it was as easy as that, man. I'm still friends with Danny. And then I auditioned, got in the band, and we've been on the road ever since, it feels like.
And Joey, what about you?
Wasn't that like the spring of '84? We were about to go on tour.
It was, because I had to graduate early to get out of school early just to come on tour with Anthrax. Because I got in the band, I still wasn't finished with school, so I doubled up on my credits to get out of high school to go on the College of Anthrax. That's what happened. It worked like that.
And didn't Johnny Z write the note to your principal?
Yeah,
Frank needs to leave early. He's got to go. He
needs to go on tour with
Anthrax.
By the way, Frank Bello needs to go on tour with Anthrax and be in a smelly van for 3 weeks that smells like farts the whole time. It's good times, baby. Come out.
Frank, do you remember your first show?
L'Amour's, it's on tape. I just, somebody just sent that to me the other day. It's on YouTube, dude. My first show is on YouTube. The L'Amour show is insane. I look like a Guido. It was awesome. Not unlike right now. And
I was going to say, it's any different than now.
Yeah, but everybody in L'Amour's looked like Guido, so it didn't matter.
Yes, I was at home there. It didn't matter. So it all worked. I'm going back right now. See, I'm celebrating. I cut my hair to celebrate the look I had then. It all works, Eddie. You understand? I'm going back. I'm over here now, right? I'm over here. Nice.
Let's get Joey involved here. Joe, you came in around the same time as Frank, or a little after, right?
85. I dropped in from nowhere.
Actually, it was the end. It was 80. It was actually 84.
I thought it was late 85.
No. We were doing shows. Armed and Dangerous came out in spring of 85.
So I came in at 80. So I came and visited you guys in 84 then. Okay, I'll take the air.
Yeah. It was late 84 when Joey came in.
Why
Joey, what do you remember? What were your first impressions of the band? They had already had a record out, obviously. They had been around a little bit. When you, and I know you and very well in the music that you love, I imagine it was pretty jarring when you heard the music that Anthrax was making and trying to figure out, hey, am I the right guy to sing this?
It crossed my mind, but I didn't even think about the label type stuff. I thought that they, they're in the mode of making a record and stuff, and they seem to have everything going their way. The music sounded pretty great, to me, and it was heavier than what I heard, but not that far away where I didn't think I could adapt to it. So I was feeling good about that. They had great gear, and they sounded really good. And they were.
He's still saying that. Am I the right guy to sing this?
What's that? What did he say?
He said, "You still say, am I the right guy to sing this?"
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, right.
I remember Joey came in and he's like, this doesn't sound like Poco. And then he stayed anyway.
Yeah.
It's like,
he knew there was free coffee, so he's in. He was in. He's staying. Didn't matter.
Yeah, there was coffee.
Yeah. How do you judge anything when you get there? You just got to see it. You got to see it through. That was the key, is just to make sure that everybody was on the same wavelength.
Joey, what was the first song you sang with the band? Do you remember?
Probably "Oh Sherry."
What was it really?
I don't remember doing anything of their music first. I think they said go on in and like warm up, or let's get some songs. I don't know.
When you warmed up, dude, when you did warm up, when you went in the booth to actually warm up, your first thing that you actually did on the mic was "Should Have Been Gone," and it sounded sounded awesome. It really did.
Then I think I did lights too on top because I had nothing else to give at that point. I don't know, and then I think Armed and Dangerous really was one of my first cuts. I think, if I'm correct.
I thought one of the first songs you sang was Medusa.
For Anthrax, yeah.
No, because I feel like remember, didn't the words to that get written when John
later on, right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I remember
if you ask Johnny, he wrote the lyrics to that, and I think that was out like at the Sundance or something, and when we did that short run in early 85 or something like that. Anyway, that was a little
Right. So wait, so when we did that short run, was Armed and Dangerous coming out?
It just came out because I think
That was to support it.
I looked this up. Yeah, when for one of my interviews for the docu-series, I actually looked it up, and Armed and Dangerous came out like right when we did that short Northeast run. So like, yeah, essentially we were supporting that.
So that's why I think that's one of the first songs I did. I'm almost sure of it. It was slow and it, get going, and it just seemed like it. I even have the cassette of that take. It's pretty good.
And what was the other one? It was Raise Hell was on that.
Yeah, Raise Hell, and then of course
right.
we got Metal Thrashing Mad.
Metal Thrashing Man and Panic.
God Save the Queen. I think
That's
you all that stuff out first.
Well, I've said many, many times that Joey's voice and hearing Joey's voice singing over the music you guys were making was my gateway into that world of metal, because that was that Joey, you were the X factor for me, man. Hearing somebody sing like that was unprecedented in that kind of music, and it still is to a large degree. There's so much new metal that I would love so much more if there was singing versus screaming. I mean, that's just my personal taste, and your voice is still amazing, man. I don't know how you've done it all these decades, but it's still incredible. Anybody that has seen Anthrax play knows that you're truly incredible that you can still do it. Do you still feel good doing it? Are you still confident going up there doing it? If you feel you lost anything as 40 years have gone by?
No, I just feel the same. I feel like I know it all much better. I feel much more comfortable just doing it. It's a lot easier. I don't think about it at all.
We're so lucky. We're so lucky that there's a handful of dudes out there that have, some of them doing it even longer than we have. I think everyone who I'm going to mention, but we're so lucky because we've got a guy who, much like Robin Zander or Bruce Dickinson or Glenn Hughes or Rob Halford. Yeah. I mean, guys that have been doing it even longer than us, who still, it's insane how good they are. And, we're in that same boat with Joey. It's like, we're so lucky to have that.
I want to talk
sometimes
Scott,
sometimes with Joey, it's like, I feel like the same with a lot of us too. Like once we get out there and we kind of almost test the vibe out there, then it becomes you're on autopilot, and it's like, I don't even think Joey pushes it. I think it's just natural. It just comes out.
Yeah, it's amazing. Scott, you mentioned the docuseries. I want to bring that up because it's awesome. And for people listening or watching, if you have not checked it out yet, go to YouTube. I'm caught up. The latest episode that's up now, I think, is through Worship Music, but it chronicles, there is an Anthrax 40 documentary on YouTube that chronicles from 81 right through, I'm assuming it's going right till now, but it's fantastic. You literally talk to everybody that's been included in the band or the band's history. Talk about that coming together. We'll start with you, Scott.
Well, because of COVID, we knew we weren't going to be able to actually go out and, do a 40th anniversary run around the actual anniversary, which of course would have been great to be able to do. So at some point last year, sitting around in quarantine, that the idea came up to, well, what if we were able to do like some type of docuseries like this, where, kind of the oral history of the band. And that's, we contacted Jack Bennett, who we've done a bunch of work with before. He's directed videos for us, and he's doing the live stream with us. And we kind of put it together, and, we stayed way out in front of it because we knew it was going to be a shit ton of work, and still is, because there's still an episode or two to go. But yeah, I think it's been great. And it's just so great reliving so much of it and telling stories and make so many other memories come back, and seeing other people pop up, whether it's guys that were in the band or, friends of ours from other bands, and hearing what they have to say, you included, Ed. Johnny Z, for me, when Johnny Z said, I think it was one of the first episodes, Johnny Z goes, Anthrax, they were a pain in my ass. And I said to Jack Bennett, I said, I want every episode just to start with that. That has to start every single episode because he's speaking the truth. We were a massive pain in his ass. But it's been, I'm really happy with it. And I think the plan is to actually cut a long form version of the whole thing and then figure out like a way to put that out there.
Yeah, I think that'd be great if it was just a full film at some point of the whole thing in one chunk, because I love watching it like this. So it's kind of almost the way people put out music these days, where you spoon feed some songs for a bit and then eventually you give them the full record with everything on it. But for people who haven't watched that, it's incredible. And Frankie, when you watch that, I mean, I would imagine, because I don't know, knowing you guys, like I said, almost the entire time. Me watching it freaks me out, because I'm like, I can't believe that all of this has happened. I still feel like we're all just kids still, at L'Amour's or wherever we're at. And then when you watch something like that and it puts it chronologically in perspective of all the things you've done, it blows your mind at the amount of time that's gone by and all the experiences, I think.
It's funny talking to a person like you, Eddie, because you've been there. You've been there from the very beginning of when I was in the band. So the way I look at it, it went like this. That it's 40 years. I still don't feel like it's been 40 years. We're hungrier now than ever. I think the band as a whole. When I see some of these interviews, I learn things, perspective. Not only people and people that were nice enough to do it, their perspective, but the band's perspective, watching the band talk about that time in their lives and getting their vibe on it. I have mine, Charlie, Scott, Joey, they all have theirs. It's interesting for me, just I'm a band member, but as a fan, it's like, God, I didn't even know he felt like that. And it really hits home to me. So it brings back a lot of great memories. And it makes me realize how lucky we are to have this ride. Really, to be honest, and then we've had a great ride, and it's come to this, and it's fun to know that something's next. We have something very special planned next. New record, new tour, the whole thing. So it's cool to get on that ride, man.
Joey, how is it for you watching it so far? Have you enjoyed it? Have there's been moments in it that have been like of interest to you?
Well, I mean, it's great to live back, see what we did and how we got there. And obviously there's a hole in there that I was gone, and you have to kind of listen to all that, how much they loved it and how great it was and this and that. And you go, okay. And then you're back, and it's like, you kind of just have to kind of let it ride, just do your thing and not worry about it. But it is a bit strange seeing it, but at the same time, I know what we're doing here, and I feel good about how we do it and what we have accomplished and how good we are at this point. So I guess I just have to kind of let that stuff slide,
Charlie, for you, on the one last thing on the doc, and then we're going to talk about the stream and a couple other things, then we'll get our callers on. But the thing that I loved so much about this documentary, and again, it's continuing, there's a few more episodes left, and it's totally free, everybody can just watch it on YouTube, is the fact that you guys just made the decision to cover everything and talk to everybody, whether it's Caggiano or Paul Crook or Neil Turbin or Lilker or Bush or anybody, people behind the scenes. And then there's the people that are fans of the band, whether it's Henry Rollins or Keanu Reeves and all these people that come in and out of the story. I thought it was great that you guys went that route instead of it just being you and Scott telling the story, you, Scott, and Frank and Joey or whatever. The fact that you opened it up to everybody and wanted all those perspectives, I think, is one of the things that makes it so great.
Absolutely, because if we did it, then it would just be it's these guys telling their story. But if the other guys are telling the story, then it backs up the stories that we've been telling in the past. So that to me was the important part about it. If you cut to Neil Turbin and it's like, wow, it's Neil's on there. Because for me, seeing Neil was like, wow, that's awesome. It's like I was applauding it, like, let's hear it, and then having Lilker on there. And then as it just goes on, Spitz did it, it was really important. And I think it shows that there's still this camaraderie, even if they're not in the band, they're still part of this family that we started in '81.
Yeah, I forgot to mention Danny, but having Danny there was huge. It was great seeing him. I hadn't seen or heard from Danny in a long time. So,
I think,
and obviously such a big part of everything.
I think the takeaway for me, and I hope for everybody, whether it's people, us guys in the band, that people watching it at home, is that, it really does show that the band, that the idea that Anthrax is bigger than the sum of its parts. That's been my takeaway from this whole thing, is that it's the band, it's the name Anthrax and the band that really just is, no pun intended, is the be all end all.
Yeah, there's great stuff in there. There's stuff on there about records that maybe flew under the radar, the Married with Children stuff that's in there. I mean, everything, the stuff with Public Enemy, I'm the Man. It's just an incredible story. It's really well done. I encourage everybody to go check it out. All right, speaking of going and checking out something online, the Anthrax live stream. Now, we just came out of streaming mania for the last year and a half. You guys have jumped in with a live concert that is premiering on Friday. It's coming up this week, right?
Yes.
16.
Yes.
So, Charlie, you want to take this one? Tell everybody what they're about to see, and we'll go around the horn and get some thoughts on this show you're about to perform as a live stream, because I hear you're going to be doing some stuff you haven't done in a while. It's going to be an extended set. What can you tell the audience about it?
We're playing songs that we haven't played in years. I mean, that's what we're intending on doing. But we play our first show on the 15th. This coming Thursday, and I'm totally psyched about that. So it's going to be like going into that show, and then we're going to do our live stream. It's going to be supercharged, and there's going to be songs from Fistful, Spreading, Among, State, Persistence. I mean, it just runs the gamut of all different songs that we haven't played in a long time.
Scott, give me one that you're looking forward to playing the most that you haven't played in a long time. I want to get one from everybody. Go ahead. What's yours?
Keep It in the Family.
Took mine. Shit.
Frank, you got a different one?
One we haven't played in a long time. Wow. Now I gotta think.
give some
Aftershock.
nuggets for
How about
people.
Aftershock.
Joey?
About Lone Justice,
Oh, you're going to do Lone Justice?
maybe.
If only I could have heard that, man. I can't wait to buy it so I could hear that. That would be amazing to hear that you guys do that again. Can you still sing? Can you still sing that, Joey, like that, man? That's up there. Can you still sing it?
Yeah, we do everything in the right key, Eddie. We don't mess around.
All right.
That's a confident
right
boy right there, huh?
Charlie, what about you? The decision to do a live stream now, and what are you looking forward to playing that you haven't played in a while?
Two songs. I love the song Now It's Dark, and we haven't played that in a long time. And then we're digging one up from the Killer Bees, Protest and Survive. That's another good one.
And then from here, you mentioned live shows. So I know you're going to play the night before at Rockfest in Cadott, Wisconsin. Does this start now, essentially a 40th anniversary tour? Are you going to just be going out for a while now and a bunch of dates coming up?
Well, that's the start of it. And then it finishes in November in Daytona. So from now till then, we're going to be doing Sturgis. We're going to be playing, Louder Than Life, all Aftershock, all of those big festivals, and some radio shows too. So we're super stoked about that.
Yeah, I know.
I think you're back on Rocklahoma too, right? You're back on Rocklahoma, I believe, too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think that's September 4th, and we have I think September 2nd is a headline show, because it's mostly one-offs. We're not going out like for 5 months, but just like Charlie was saying, festivals. Well, I know we're doing a headliner in Corpus Christi, I think is like September 2nd, and we've got Phil Anselmo and the Illegals opening for us there. I'm really looking forward to that show.
Yeah, I host Rocklahoma every year. If you guys remember the last time you played it, we were on your bus, and the bus was shaking, the wind and the rain coming in.
I remember that.
That was
great.
just
that was
nuts.
A good time.
Yeah. Hopefully better weather this Labor Day weekend when you play it. All right, two other quick things, and we should tell people to get the stream, go to anthraxlive.com. That's where you want to go to order the stream, bundles, tickets, the whole thing, and then check your time zone too, because obviously depending upon where, what time zone you're in, it's 7 Eastern, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be up for a week. Like, it's going to be available to watch and buy tickets. So, like, we know a lot of people are going to be at Rockfest over the weekend, but they can watch it on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday. You know what I mean? So it's going to be up for a week.
Okay, so it's archived, so you can watch it live at 7
Right.
Eastern or whatever the time conversion is. And if that time doesn't
Right.
work for you and you buy the stream, you can watch it at your convenience. Again, get all the information, get your tickets, bundles, merch, anthraxlive.com. Easy enough for the web address. Two quick things, and we're going to get the audience involved. You guys have done bourbon, I understand, and there's a new one coming out. Frankie, you want to take that one?
Well, we went out. Scott and I went upstate how long ago was that, Scott?
Last week.
Last week we went up, met Scott upstate and sipped some good stuff, man. And we did some tasting, and we got the one that was right. I think, Scott, what are your thoughts on it? And take it from here, because you know a lot more than I do.
Oh yeah. I think it's our 4th whiskey with Hill
Is
Rock.
it 4?
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we did the first one, then we did the 2 Evil Twin Rise, and so it's our 4th collaboration with Hill Rock, and it's just been great. We're whiskey fans, so to get to work with Hill Rock and which is a product that we all love, and we pick it. It's not like we're just slapping our name on a bottle and they're putting it out there. We're actually a kind of a part of the process, and yeah, we wanted to have something to commemorate. What better way to commemorate 40 than to be able to raise a glass? And so yeah, we do have a bottle of their Solera aged bourbon coming soon, and it's mighty fine whiskey.
By the way, we drank more than one glass. I was hammered the other night. It was good.
And Charlie, why don't you jump in on the comic book, because there's a graphic novel that is out or coming out. What can you tell us about that?
The graphic novel's out. It's Z2 Comics approached us kind of in the beginning of the pandemic, and Josh Bernstein, who you know, and brought out this idea about doing an Among the Living graphic novel, taking each song title, writing a story for each title, and it was one of the greatest things ever. And we all got absorbed into the whole thing. So we reached out to writers like Rob Zombie, Gerard and Mikey Way from My Chemical Romance, Corey Taylor, and they all agreed to do it. And it just started to come together in such a great way. And Scott wrote the I Am the Law. I did the cover for the I Am the Law comic. Frankie wrote a story. Joey did the whole forward. So it was a complete group effort. And when I read things online about it now, that people who have gotten it, they're so happy with it. So that makes me completely happy. It came out great.
Real quick, before we get the callers, I just thought about that. Is there any song that you're doing in the live stream that you've never played live in your career?
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Did we ever play Protest and Survive live?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think we did.
I don't know. I thought we did, but I could be wrong.
We might have
It's
jammed
been
one time.
It's been 40 years, so
It'll be like new.
All right, let's get our first listener viewer joining us right now. He's joining us from Roslyn, Pennsylvania. It is Philip Geeman. Philip, welcome. How are you?
Good. How you guys doing? How you doing,
What's up,
Eddie?
Philip?
Good, Philip.
Hey, as Eddie mentioned, your last 2 studio albums, Worship Music and For All Kings, were extremely strong. In addition to Joey coming back to the band, what do you see as some additional reasons behind this?
Frank, you want to take it? Scott, go ahead.
Well, I just think it's a case of getting better at what we do. I'd like to think as time goes on, the more records we make, the better we get at making records, at writing songs. and knowing what we want to hear on a record, and maintaining focus and all of that. I just think we've gotten better at being Anthrax, and it really shows on Worship Music and For All Kings.
And Philip, you had a second question?
Yes. In 1991, you participated in the U.S. leg of the Clash of the Titans with Slayer, Megadeth, and Alice in Chains. Would you share a memorable story from that tour? You probably have a bunch.
Frank, you want to take that?
My favorite story on that is still the Fish story with Slayer. Was that the last show of the tour, guys?
Yeah, Miami,
Florida.
That was Miami, where it was the last show of the tour, and we wanted to do something to Slayer because they're our friends, and we like to laugh. So what song was it? Remember what song it was?
Well, you gotta kind of go before that.
Well, take it, Charlie. I'll chime in. Take it. Go ahead.
Slayer don't smile on stage. They're very,
They're metal.
That's it. And so we were going to try and get them to crack, to smile and laugh. And
that's the whole point.
So the rigger, we got this huge fish, and it stunk so bad.
Massive.
And he flew it all the way up into the truss. And when they were going to start Angel of Death, the fish was going to lower down, but it was going to stop right in front of Tom. And as soon as it got there, man, Tom just kind of
he could not handle it. It was the best. And it came, what was great about it? It came down really slow, Eddie. During the whole beginning, it came down really slow. So it really went well. And then Tom had no choice. A fucking fish is at his microphone. It was the best, man. You had no choice but to laugh. It was awesome.
Like Stonehenge in Spinal Tap, except for fish coming down.
Yeah, Stonehenge.
Two things. Kerry and Jeff also both, I think they actually kind of noticed it before Tom even noticed it. So they both broke and started laughing. But to back it up earlier than that, Slayer's end of tour prank on us was they were shooting us while we were playing with paintball guns. So there was nothing funny about that.
which that story, about 2 weeks prior to that happening, we all bought paintball guns, and we had a night off, and everybody was whatever drunk, and there was a lot of acid in the pool, if you remember. And
that was great.
Softball too. Remember?
And then we anyway, long story short, the next day the place was shot up with fluorescent green, pink, yellow paintballs everywhere. The Omni sign outside the hotel was it looked like the United Colors of Benetton. It was just like every color was on that thing. Sure enough, we all got charged like about $4,000 a piece for cleaning up. And I'll never forget that day. Rick Downey, our tour manager, just shows us this bill, and we're like, "Oh fuck!"
It was a great night of drinking. Expensive night. That was expensive booze that night.
But that ties into the Slayer shooting us with paintballs.
All right, let's bring in Arlo Taylor. Arlo is from Little Rock, and he is next up on the Trunk Nation Virtual Invasion with the members of Anthrax. Again, the stream is coming your way starting on Friday, 7 o'clock Eastern, anthraxlive.com to get your tickets. Arlo, welcome. What's going on?
Hey, thanks, guys. I really enjoy your music, and I'm just psyched to be here. And really, my question is, as the band has grown and evolved over the years, how different is your sound today versus what you were pursuing or envisioning when you started out?
That's probably a good one for Scott, since he started the whole thing back in '81. So, Scott, why don't you take that?
Are you talking about specifically like guitar tones, or you mean the overall sound of the band?
Well, he's gone now, so I'm going to answer for him and say
okay.
he's probably referring to just the evolution of the band and the music from the beginning to now, I would think.
And what did he want to know? What's different?
Yeah, the evolution. I guess if you envisioned the evolution of the sound being when you first started, being what it's evolved into.
I mean, no, I don't think, certainly, even when we were making Fistful of Metal, I don't think anyone was looking forward 35, 40 years, wondering what are we going to sound like then. I will say we've always done the best we can in the time we've had to make records. You'd be out on a tour and, like I'm talking back in the 80s when you would know, all right, well, the tour's starting to wind up. We should probably start thinking about working on new stuff. And, we'd start writing and we'd come home and we'd spend a couple of months in New York working on stuff and get right back in the studio. And, we would do everything we could in that time we had based on the schedule just to do the best we can. And then you'd see where you went. You'd see how you evolved when a record was done. If anyone else wants to jump in on this, but
during like a touring cycle, you're starting to bring in different things, different moods, different sounds. So by the end of that touring cycle of that one record, first of all, you're playing those songs at such a, you're playing them like an expert at this point. So by the time you get off the tour, you're so pumped up to go and start to do something new that the things that you picked up in those 18 months, that's going into your next record. So sometimes we've been accused of maybe being too ahead of things sometimes, and then usually everything has to catch up. And I always felt that way with us. Like we were making music like for ourselves and for the fans, but a lot of times too, we were ahead of it and it just needed to catch up. But that's music, I guess. We were evolving every year. We were moving on,
Before we take the next caller, I want to bring in Joey and Frankie here, because one of the things that I love so much about Anthrax is the fact that as heavy as the band is, it's never at the expense of melody. There's always great singing and great harmony and choruses and melody. And I know, Joey, you as the lead singer, and Frank, you doing a lot of backing vocals, that's something that's important to you and that you work really hard on. And Joey, given your background being into so much melodic rock, I think that's really something that I would think would be something that you're really always pushing for, right?
Yeah, when you approach a tune, you're looking for great sections to really shine on and just take it to the highest elevation you can, and not even just as far as a key, but I'm just saying just to take it, have a great magnitude to put the song, to make it sound like really cool and catchy, not to even be commercialized, just to have a good hook. I love a good melody, but at the same time, just want to sing with some great enthusiasm as much as I can with some great style, the style and tone. So
for me, I think we have a great tool in Joey Belladonna's voice. So it's easier to write with that, and knowing you have the range he has, and it's just Joey's natural sound that comes out of his voice. It's a really nice, pleasant sound. And you put that together with our band sound, the heaviness of that is Anthrax. That's what separates us from a lot, I think, right there. That's what makes it sound different. That's what the melodic thing comes in, and I look forward to that, and having this really heavy music and getting Joey's voice on top of that, making the melody like just peak. His voice can peak on those things, and we utilize that a lot in Anthrax. I think that's important.
All right, let's bring in our next listener and viewer. If you're watching on the SiriusXM app, here is Jeff Hawkins, and Jeff is from Palm Springs, California, and he is up next with Joey, Charlie, Scott, and Frank from Anthrax. Hey, Jeff, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Yes,
we got you.
Hey, thank you, Eddie, for doing this. I'll be quick because I know I heard the thing about the time allotment. I love spreading the disease and among the living so much, but For All Kings and worship music are even better because you guys keep getting better. And, I love a band that I grew up with that only gets better, and that is definitely Anthrax. So my question pertains to worship music, because I think it is the greatest record you guys have ever made. And it's my favorite, and it's also in my top 25 albums of all time. So,
wow.
Two parts. First part is, what is your favorite track from Worship? And is there any chance you guys will ever play that album in its entirety live?
Well, how about In the End for me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, In the End is just a brilliant, brilliant song. So Joey has In the End. Charlie, what about you?
There's a song that we really neglect, and it's called "The Giant," which I think is a really great song. And for some reason, we just kind of left it on the record, and we never, that's a song I'd love to play live. It's such a great song. And of course, "Earth on Hell." That's my favorite song.
Scott, you got a favorite from worship music?
It's tough between In the End and Devil You Know, but I probably have to lean towards In the End.
Frank?
Oh, hard. Yeah. In the End is epic. It's fun to play that every night too. When we do it, it's awesome. Susan Rain on that record too. Yeah. Yeah.
No.
No. Well, I like that song anyway. So, yeah, there's a lot of records, it happens. I still, in the end, it's an epic song. I just love that song.
Yeah, and of course, when you guys did that live, many times you would tribute to Dime and Dio and drop those scrims, and just really, really incredible moment if people saw you guys do that live. And just a quick question, I guess, Scott, if you want to take it, would you ever entertain playing the record in its entirety? That was his other question.
Yeah.
Maybe a 10-year anniversary or something, or 20.
Maybe. We did that with Among, and it was great, but I don't know that we need to. That's my answer. I don't know.
All right, fair enough. Let's get one more in before our next break, and this is Jonathan Cartwright, and Jonathan's joining us from Johns Creek, Georgia, and he is next up on the Trunk Nation Virtual Invasion with Anthrax. Again, the live stream, anthraxlive.com to get your tickets. Jonathan, thanks for joining us. You're on.
Yeah, actually from Grand Terrace, California. Real quick.
Oh, sorry.
Charlie,
like I said, from California.
Yeah.
Dude, you're falling off a ledge, dude.
Hey, real quick, baby. Charlie, next time you go to Gene and Jude's, get a hot dog for me, okay?
Okay, you want fries on that or no?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I used to live in Berwyn, so I that's our inside joke there.
That's funny.
Guys, I became an Anthrax fan at the age of 13 in 1988. State of Euphoria is my favorite album because that's what got me into you guys. And I guess Scott and Charlie, a question would be for you. Be All End All is my favorite song by you guys. Can you tell me something maybe I wouldn't know about that song and the album?
The cello was the key part to the melody of that song. It was supposed to be haunting, and that's why the cello started that whole album off. But Scott could tell you more about the lyrics to Be All End All.
On that note, we just lost Scott. He just disappeared. Oh, there he goes.
Hold on. Yeah, sorry.
Scott's like, I hate that song. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Just got pulled over.
Hello, you guys there? No, I love that song. I love Be All End All. He wanted it. What it's about. I mean, it's kind of, the title pretty much says it all. It's about doing your best. It's about not giving up and persevering. Be all end all. Just do everything you can if there's something out there that you want.
Well, we have that
All
now.
right. Next up is Jose. And Jose, I'm not sure where you're joining us from. Where are you exactly?
Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Welcome,
yeah.
Jose. Thanks for being here. And what's your question for Anthrax?
I love your Maiden shirt. I know where you're coming from. That's awesome.
Scott says he knows nothing about that shirt. He has no idea what you're talking about, he said.
I don't know what you're talking
Writing
about.
on the wall. Yeah. We're all
Hey,
so
Jose?
yeah.
are you from Toronto?
Yeah.
And you kind of look like Geddy Lee a little bit. I'm just putting it out there.
Oh, right. That's good, man.
It's a little thing. It is a good thing. Hey,
Yeah, for sure.
come on now.
Hey,
Just putting it out there.
Looking forward to get your book soon. I ordered it already, so I'm just waiting.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Of course. So actually, I think you already worked on this, Frank. And well, are you looking forward to meet and greets again? I know that you're kind of done with that, with the handshaking and stuff, but are you? Because I know that's a big part of the business.
Me?
Yeah, I think that you in an interview.
Yeah, I said that thing in that interview that time. Yeah, with his handshake. Because I talked to my doctor that day. He just said, he says, Frank, be careful because the autoimmune thing I have. He says, be careful when you shake hands because you can get sick like that. Blah blah blah. I'll still shake hands. Let's just put it out there. I'll shake hands. It's done. All right.
I say we should just start kissing. Fuck the
Yeah,
shaking
well,
hands. Hello, come here. man.
Making out, rubbing,
Come.
the whole thing. Well, just I mean, we can
Yeah.
hug. Yeah, shake hands is fine. I don't care. Let's just live, damn it. Let's play.
We need those thing on Saturday Night Live with the hand, those fake hands.
Yeah.
You need to do like a Howie Mandel and do like a full body condom at this point, I think is probably the way to go. But
The
yeah,
bubble.
I agree. You got to live. You got to just go out there and do
You
it.
gotta
Thank
live,
you,
man.
Jose.
Thank you. Jose.
Appreciate your call or your Zoom, whatever you're calling, whatever we're doing here. Robert is joining us. Robert Grieper. Robert is from Plantation, Florida. At least that's what my screen says. Is that actually where you are, Robert?
That's correct. That's correct,
All
Eddie.
right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Welcome. You're on with Anthrax.
Hey guys, great talking to you. Looking forward to the 40th anniversary live stream on Friday night. Just wanted to commend Joey and Eddie for the Ryan James Dio tribute concert this past weekend, and was wondering, could you guys talk about the influence that Dio had on the band?
Well,
Oh,
I was just a co-host of it, and I've been lucky enough to do a lot of cool stuff for the Dio Cancer Fund. It's always great to contribute to a great cause in the memory of Ronnie, who we all loved. And Joey, you were a big part of it, man. You did a ton of stuff in there. It was awesome, the stuff you did.
thank you. Well, Ronnie was influenced everybody, and he's just awesome and great music. There's nothing like being a part of something that's dear to my heart and everybody involved.
The thing about Ronnie is, and you guys can all attest to this, I'm sure, is that he was not only an amazing singer, but as a person, just as a human being, just as a guy to meet and see. It's hard to believe he's been gone 10 years because all of the music, whether it was Sabbath, Rainbow, Dio, all the stuff is still so out there. It feels like he's still with us so much. But Joey, I got to tell you, when I hosted that, obviously that was put together in advance. And when I hosted that, like every other performance was, here's Joey Belladonna doing. So you really did a lot of performances for that. Was there one that you really enjoyed the most?
Well, there's songs that I wasn't even planning on doing. They were just throwing them at me, and I was taking them right there as I was doing them. Long live rock and roll. I never did that live. So that was a one that was thrown at me out of nowhere. Put that together pretty quick. So that was fun. Obviously the ones I did, the classics, they were awesome just as well, but I had fun. I could have done more.
Wow. I didn't know that happened. That's kind of cool. So you had to learn all those songs, all those Sabbath songs, Dio songs, and Rainbow songs.
No,
That's fucking awesome.
I did 5.
That's cool.
They want-
I wish I was there.
Huh?
I wish I was there. I would love to play.
Yeah,
that.
you should have played. You could have played.
Well, Charlie, just like your own live stream, I'm sure it's archived and you can go get it right now if you want. You can see what Joey did
There you
exactly. So
There you go.
let's get someone. Let's get another caller in here. This is Sean, and this person, Sean Blanket, is apparently from Johns Creek, Georgia. Is that correct, Sean?
That is correct, Eddie.
Somebody was from Georgia. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for doing this. This is really awesome. The guys at Anthrax, I discovered them back in 86, 87, when I first saw that Indians video on MTV, and I was like, whoa, this is not your glam metal rock. And another interesting fact, Eddie, Scott, we were all at the same Kiss concert in 1977 at the Garden when Piper opened, and that was life-changing for myself. So,
Whose turn is it to drink? We got a Kiss mention. Who Frankie, there you go.
16th row. My father was actually Bill Acoin's dentist back then. I was in 5th grade.
Wow.
Wow.
December 16th, 77 for me. Scott, what was it for you? What day?
December 14th.
So you
I
were
was
2 days
there.
earlier.
Yeah.
I saw them before that, though. I saw them before that on the Rock and Roll Over tour.
Me too. In February of
Um,
77.
At the Nassau Coliseum.
Yeah, me too.
Great time.
Frankie, what was your first, Frank?
I was with Charlie.
Yeah.
We went
And then
to
Oh,
we
wow.
went
You
to-
saw Rock and Roll Over? That's crazy.
It was.
And my sister took us 2 times at the Garden for those shows that we were just talking about.
Charlie, what show was it where Gene Simmons threw the towel and the girl? Remember the guy?
That was the show. That was
Eddie,
Rock and
you know
Roll
about
Over.
that,
Yeah.
right? Did I tell you that? Have we ever told you that, Joe?
I don't know.
Well, Gene, you know, we had these seats we could look backstage, and Gene used to do. They used to do the makeup in the back and clean their makeup up, you know, and towel off. So Gene used to, you know, wipe off and he wrapped the towel like into a knot and throw it to fans in the back, which we all wanted it. So Gene threw it to this girl, and Charlie, was it a guy that came over to her? There's a guy that
he
came
punched
right
her.
Yeah, he punched this girl right in the face, dude. Knocked her down and took the towel away from her.
Took the
It was a
towel.
true story, man. It was insane.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then I was like, because I never told Scott that was fucked up that he hit that girl, but it was like, you know, nobody got the joke.
I just got it.
But here's my question, because these are great stories. And actually, Scott, I read both of your books, and I enjoyed all those stories of you growing up in Queens. I'm also a Jewish man from Long Island, so I can relate to a lot of it. I know Frankie has a book coming out in October, which I'm really looking forward to reading. And the question is for Joey and Charlie. I mean, you guys must have some great stories throughout the years. Would love to hear about them. Is there any plans for you all to write an autobiography?
I have a coloring book coming out next year.
He's starting small. It's okay.
Charlie, would you like to do a book at some point?
When the band is over, that's when
Then you can really dish.
Yeah, I don't have time to do it now.
When you don't have to see him anymore.
No, it's even
Joey,
more so that then you can tell the stories about other bands that you don't have to see anymore.
Right. True. Joey, what
Because
about
Joey-
you? Would you like
Joey
to do a
almost
book
started
someday?
talking about that.
Got a book you want me to write, Eddie?
Well, I think the caller, Sean, would probably like a book about your career. That's what he was asking about. That's what the other books were about, or your life story. Would you like to do a book at some point about, maybe you want to write about your love of the Vikings, whatever you want to write about?
I've had many people ask me about it. I just, someday maybe, who knows?
All right. So nothing imminent from Joey as far as books are concerned. And Charlie's got a coloring book coming. So there's your answer. And look forward to Frankie's book coming soon. We'll certainly do something with Frank when the book comes out here on the show. All right. Last person. We go to Milwaukee right now. And this is Tom Eggert joining us now on the Trunk Nation Virtual Invasion with Anthrax. Tom, thank you. You are last but not least. Go ahead.
Hey, fantastic. Hey, thanks for putting all this together, guys. It's been a lot of fun. I've been watching the YouTube stuff too here and learned a lot of stuff that I never heard before. I've seen you guys live probably over a dozen times in the last only about 30 years. What are your favorite songs to play live? How do you put songs in and out of the set list? How does that process work, other than, of course, when you got a new album? And am I going to be able to hear you guys play Armed and Dangerous on Friday or anytime soon? Because that would be killer.
The problem with putting a set list together, and I know the other guys feel exactly the same way I do, is that, oh yeah, we want to play this, we want to play that, and then we'll take a poll from our fans of what songs, and it's always the same songs. But then you always get these people who are like, well, how come you never play this? Well, because sometimes, when you're playing like a big festival, it's hard to pull out a deep cut. You gotta play the songs that most people are familiar with. So when we do our own show, I think that's when we're going to start picking and choosing and throwing in an obscure song here and there. Armed and Dangerous was a great song. So maybe we'll put that in. Maybe Friday. You got to tune in to see.
Yeah.
And
my favorite song to play live is Caught in a Mosh. I mean, I know
Me too.
it seems like, but I think someone could probably prove me wrong, but I'm pretty sure since 1987, I don't think it's ever been out of the set list. That might be the one song that's never been out of the set list.
Has Indians ever been out of the set list?
Yes, it has. Indians has
Really?
been out. I Am the Law's been out. Yeah. Yep. But I think Caught in a Mosh has always been in it.
Yeah. I love playing that song. Me personally, it gets me so pumped up when it starts.
Yeah.
Frank, we'll close out with this. We'll get one from you and Joey, and we'll wrap up. What's your favorite to play live?
I was going to say Caught because there's nothing like starting that with the bass and seeing the crowd react to that. It's insane. That's the lighting of the fuse of the show. That's really when the show starts. and then it goes nuts after that. So it's that, and there's a lot of great songs that I love to play, but that sparks it all the time.
Joey, what about you?
I just like playing everything. I don't care.
What kind of book do you want me to write? I'll play anything. I mean,
No,
Joey's just easy going, man. There's no issue. Whatever you want to do.
Living at large, Eddie. No problem. Everything's good. Tunes. A lot of songs are not as easy to play live too. That's the thing with some of the songs that people might want to hear. They're not easy to pull off. Some of them are really great record tunes. They don't have that. They're not that easy to get across. You know what I mean? And you got to feel them. So it's kind of a good thing sometimes not to really just air out a song that just isn't going to work. But I love all the old tunes. They really. I mean, Medusa's been a lot of fun to sing because it's cool. It's wide open. Breathing Lightning has been awesome lately. Indians is awesome. I Am the Law. I love all that stuff.
I got one question to wrap up from me. Indians has come up a few times. A couple callers came up. Joey just brought it up. If you watch the YouTube series, people who have watched it will know that I actually purchased the original headdress for Joey that he wears in the Indians video. My question to you guys, which I don't know the answer to, does anybody have any idea what happened to that original headdress? When did it see its final days, and did it just get tossed, or what happened to it? I have no idea where it ended up.
Is this an invoice, Eddie? You have more money?
No,
Is that the story?
Johnny paid for it. I didn't pay for it. I just bought it.
I bought it.
Where'd it go?
I bought it.
Joe, you have it still?
That thing's in my closet somewhere. You know that.
I've had that for forever, man. I mean, I have probably about 10 made over the years. I had a guy that makes them.
So, but the original one that I bought, the story of that is in the YouTube series. So check it out. If you want more on the history of the headdress, you're just going to have to wait till Joey ends up writing his book. That'll be Joey's book, The History of the Indians' Headdresses and the Guy Who's Made Them.
You're going to help me write it, Eddie.
Oh, man. Anytime, Joe. All right. Listen, you guys, it's always fun. AnthraxLive.com. Go there and get your streaming tickets, 7 Eastern or whatever time zone you're in. Do the conversion. If you can't watch then, you can watch throughout the weekend. It'll be archived for a while, so you can go get all the information. Go to YouTube, watch that series. It's fantastic. The shows are coming back. Live shows are happening. Bourbon, comic books, 40 years of Anthrax. Congratulations, guys. It's been a pleasure and honor to call you friends, and I wish you nothing but the best going forward. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Eddie.
Thanks, Ed.
You rock.
भूल पैबू जान